Hello everyone and welcome to SM Gens. I'm Soya Kazet back again with another video on React.js. So as you can see, this video's title is how to create a working directory for your React app and all that manually. So if you're a beginner or maybe you are just familiar about React.js, you have been using create React app command. So this is what this command looks like. npx create React app and your app name. So I personally do not prefer this for beginners because it does so much thing under hood that you should know when you are starting to learn about React.js apps. So you have to do those things manually. Now to look into it, look under the hood, we'll be doing everything manually. So here is what you get when you run that command. You get a public folder and into that folder you have a bunch of things and many of these things you do not need. So as for that, you can say you do not need an app.js if you're a beginner cause maybe probably you don't know about what this is and it is preferred to not use those things that you don't have any knowledge about and also about this report web vitals and setup tests. So when you're doing things manually, you will be not creating these things. So without any further ado, let's get started. Now before we move on, I want few things as a requirement. The first thing you will be needing is a code editor. Now the code editor that I personally use is Visual Studio Code and it is by Microsoft and it is the best that I know because it has an extension that you can use to write code efficiently. Now you can have any other, there are many other code editors like one from JetBrains or you can also use Sublime or Atom. That's on you. But personally, I prefer Visual Studio Code. Now the next thing you'll be needing is of course Node.js. And I prefer you install the recommended for most users, that is the LTS. Now you can also use the current but it is not recommended cause it may not be stable. Now all that done, let's get to the next part. Now in this next step, we'll be creating a directory first. So let's create a directory. I'm using Windows command prompt. You can use whichever terminal you like. And if you're on Linux, you will be using Bash. And if you're on MacBook, that is the same thing. So create a folder first. So let's name that folder manual app. Now we have a folder here. Let me drag this on this. Now here we have a folder and let me zoom this in. So now the next thing we'll be doing is I'll be using the built-in terminal or Visual Studio Code. So first let's run this command that code and a directory name. So the directory name is manual app. So that is how you'll be opening your code and inside that code this directory will be opened. So let's hit enter and wait for Visual Studio Code to set this up. Now let's close the previous Visual Studio Code because we don't need it. As you can see, we do not have anything inside this folder. So what we'll be doing is we'll be creating our environment or environment directory for our React app. So in Windows, just press Ctrl and the tilted sign that is just below the escape button. So that'll open up your terminal, or you can also click on this terminal and hit new terminal. Now here I'm using Bash. You can use any other if you like. Just hit this plus button and choose your own terminal. Now the first thing we'll be doing is creating this directory as an npm directory. For that, we'll be initializing it by the command npm and init. Now what this will do, it will create one file that will be package.json. We'll see it will prompt many questions. Just hit enter to make it all default. So here you can see the package name. It have a manual value of manual app. By that, just will hit enter. So everything will be by default. As you can see, we have this package.json file here. Now let's peek into it, what we have in it. So everything is the default value, and that is all we need. Now the next thing we'll be doing is creating few folders. So that are the industry based convention for your directory map. So first thing we'll be creating is a public directory. Now in that public directory, we'll have our index.html and its style and few more icons or something that you will be using on index.html. So let's get cd into it. So cd public. Now into it, we'll be using touch command, and with this touch command you can create any file. So we'll be creating two files. First is index.html and the second one is style.css, and this style.css will be for HTML index.html. Now everything is done. Let's open our HTML. Now into this, I'll be using this command HTML5. Now this will create, and it is inbuilt into Visual Studio Code, so that is what I love about this. Now it will give you the boilerplate code for your HTML. And the next thing I'll be doing is, and you can also link this style to this in the header and create a div and anything, so that is on you. Now let's get back to our main directory. So for that, I'm using cd dot dot, that means go back one directory. Now here I will be creating another directory, and that will be src, for short, source. And into this directory we'll have all our main components and JS files, and also styles of those, and also assets. Those assets will be some GIF, PNGs, JPGs, fonts, and etc. So let's get into our source. Okay, we are into our source. Now here we'll be creating our first file, that will be index.js and index.css. So the CSS will be for index. So that is done. Now let's create another folder for our components. Since React.js is a component based development, so you'll be needing a different folder for all your components. So you'll be storing all your components into this directory. So that is on you. Whenever you're creating your React app, you will be storing all the components into it. So let's see what we have. Now we have here, let's see it here, we have our index.js and index.css. Now let me show you a quick best thing. Now when I write this code, rfce, now hit enter, you can see I got this boilerplate code for my React application. Now how you got this? I'm using an extension. Now you can see I have extension. Now let me drag this up. Now this extension is what I've done here. So this extension is ES7 React Readers GraphQL React Native Snippets. So what it does, it have a bunch of commands that you can just write, just like HTML:5. So whatever you write in here, you will get a boilerplate code. So let's see what we have in it. I will link this in the description, so do look into it. As you can see, we have a bunch of prefixes that will give you these kind of codes. So for export, you will be using EXP, and what I was talking about was RFCE. So the RFCE, what it does, it gives you this boilerplate code. Now as you can see, here is using functional components. Well, you can use them and make them your own arrow function. So like this. Now let's do this const. Now you can, now this, the best part of this is that whatever your component's name is, it will give the function's name similar to that. So here it is index. Since it is index, it is given index. So let me show you what I was talking about. Let's rename this to app. Now let's delete this up and again do RFCE. Now as you can see, we have a function of name app because our file's name was app. So this was all about the directory and stuff. Now here we'll be installing a bunch of modules that of course we'll be using. So first thing, let's write npm and I stand for install, and let's install React and React DOM. That's the most basic module if you are creating a React app. Let's hit enter, let them install, and meanwhile let me walk you through something that is more important. So the first thing we'll be using is for bundler. So the main thing we should have is a bundler. Now, if you're creating an industry level app, you'll be using Webpack or something, the heavy part, the most powerful bundler there is, like the Webpack, and it is recommended by many professionals. But if you want something little light and without any config, we'll be using Parcel Bundler. So let's create that, and it will be a def dependency. So parcel parcel and bundler. So there we go. Now hit enter. That's all. The parcel bundler will be installed. Now here you don't need any kind of config to use this, and all we need is a command. So we'll add a script here. So comma, and the script will be dev, and it will be parcel and a link to your index.html. So that will be dot public and index.html. That's it, and you're good to go. Just hit save, and there you go. Whenever you run the command npm run dev, you'll get the development server. So that is all for this video. I hope you like this video and find it useful, and if you do, please smash the like button and subscribe to our channel to more these kind of videos. So till then, good luck, have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next video.